Radiant team pick.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Bridon League. This is game 2. We're going to follow YellowSubmarine for one more game as they now face up against Black. One of the teams, I believe, got in from the open qualifier, and we'll see if they can perform. YellowSubmarine losing their first game versus BBC after a very long, drawn-out game. Didn't quite get enough of that AoE going, but we'll see if they can make something happen here in the second game of the day. I'm Mike Loris, got Grandis here as well, and man, I don't know anything about Black. I don't know if you do, but I hope they do well.
Yeah, I hope they do well, and I hope that they at least give us a good show this game. But as you said, I don't know anything about them. They did come through the open qualifier, and I suppose that does speak to some measure of how well they're able to play. After seeing it banned out in game number 1, I really want to see YellowSubmarine pick up the Wind Ranger. Not because I think it's a great pick, but because I want to see them wreck with it.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I would like to see that too. It's probably not going to be picked until the 4th or 5th pick, if it is picked at all. Or maybe that was just a random ban that actually had no context. Who knows? YellowSubmarine might want to run that. They might not. Either way, it's going to be a Tidehunter opening for them once again. Worked okay for them last game, but nothing too spectacular. Vengeful Spirit, not sure if she was banned out last game, but either way, she's now in this game. And then Black with the Viper, Scarith Mage, a very safe opening, a very lane-oriented opening, and that is perfectly fine. They're going to take the care out to ban out the Kunkka. The Kunkka from PSM was just backbreaking in the last game. It didn't win them the game, but man, those X-Torrent combinations were devastating.
Definitely, especially up against the Slark. I'm pretty surprised that YellowSubmarine actually banned out the puck and Ranger themselves, however. I think that could have been a decent way that they go about it, but I suppose Viper and Scarith are two ranged heroes, and are going to respect that combination of the Ranger and the Visage.
And that could get really dangerous if Black managed to get their hands on that. Really, no matter who you have, it is going to require a significant amount of counterplay if you want to take down that combo successfully. But either way, Black, they have a very safe opening, as we've already said, looking to maybe shape out their strategy a little bit more. Honestly, it doesn't really matter what they want to go for right now. They could grab one of the hot new heroes, Juggernaut, Axe, one of those types, or they could just stick with the good old heroes and then just try to dominate the laning stage. And well, Tidehunter Revenge, they're okay, but no, it looks like it's going to be a little bit more towards the pushing side of things. Jakiro, Viper, I mean, these two heroes, first of all, could have benefited a lot from the Gyro Ranger, but they can push things pretty darn quickly.
Yeah, just by themselves with Liquid Fire as well as Nether Toxin and the constant siege, going out with like a Mech Viper and chip damage from the Liquid Fire can be pretty potent. Although for now, it kind of feels like Black, their heroes are fairly lukewarm when it comes to their actual scaling. YellowSubmarine going to snag themselves up a Phantom Assassin.
Man, you're talking about scaling. That's a hero that scales extremely well. It is going to be easy pickings, taking out the Jakiro and the Scarith Mage, maybe a little bit more difficult at dealing with the Viper, but YellowSubmarine, they went for this kind of Hail Mary strategy, honestly, in the last game. It's not something that we ordinarily see, and well, this game, it looks like they're going to go for something a lot safer. I think this is something that more people would call a quote-unquote standard draft so far from YellowSubmarine. Maybe grabbing the Phantom Assassin a little bit earlier than they truly need to, but Phantom Assassin, even though she may not have that much synergy with what the rest of the team has right now, with the exception of maybe a little bit minus armor, she is a perfectly reasonable hero, assuming that she doesn't get crushed in lane, and right now it seems like she's going to have a decent chance at surviving that.
Definitely. They do have some minus armor to work with between the Vengeful Spirit Wave as well as the Gust from the Tidehunter, but more than anything, that's going to open up Roshan for YellowSubmarine. They do run the risk of getting this Phantom Assassin kited around, especially pre-BKB, with the Silence from the Scarith Mage as well as the Viper Strike. If you drop both of those on the PA, she really just has nowhere to run inside the fight, so maybe we'll see YellowSubmarine look to remedy that. They do have the defensive swap, I suppose, to keep the Phantom safe at the very least, but maybe we'll see her partnered up with the IO as it hasn't been banned out.
Yeah, it's really going to be up to the supports of YellowSubmarine in order to make sure that Phantom Assassin is actually able to stay close to her targets, whether it is that IO for a little bit of additional mobility, or if it's just playing in such a way so that they don't really jump into the Phantom Assassin until the Tidehunter Ravage is in place or until the Vengeful Spirit opens with the swap. The Phantom Assassin probably can't be the first one in this particular game, even though she may have a BKB at some point. If she jumps in and then gets Viper Struck, she's not going to be hitting anyone anytime soon. But Black, they're going to grab an Abaddon, which to me says they want to go for a Necrophos as their last pick. But even if it doesn't happen, they're going to go for a fairly deathball-y lineup with this, it seems, with Jakiro really being the one to You put the main heat on the towers and then Viper for the fighting. It seems like a Necrophos or a Death Prophet pick to me.
Yeah, it really does. They need some way to ensure that they're able to
10
transition and
seconds remaining.
really focus on that death ball, either just by raw sustain
5
and
seconds
killing off the
remaining.
Phantom Assassin very easily with the Necrophos, or structural damage with the Death Prophet. I think both of those would be
Reserve time.
valid ways. Pugna, although he's not seen as much anymore, could also be a 5th pick that they'll consider, just one of those undead heroes that'll take down the structures. YellowSubmarine are going to be considering their 4th pickup here, and it's going to be the Ancient Apparition. If they're expecting a
Radiant
Necrophos,
team back.
this is a decent way to deal with it.
Yeah, it's also a decent combo with Vengeful Spirit and Phantom Assassin. You get minor synergy with the ability to land Cold Feet, although it's more so the ability of Vengeful Spirit and Phantom Assassin to very easily apply the attacks of Chilling Touch.
10
And
seconds
it's also,
remaining.
you know, you said a good hero versus Necrophos, going to dissuade Black from going down that
5
route.
seconds
It's also just a
remaining.
straight up counter to the Abaddon. He'll pop his Borrowed Time. He might not die, but he will also not get
Reserve
healed
time.
up, and he won't be able to use Mistcoil and heal up his buddies either. So it's a good pick from YellowSubmarine, and it's still very safe from them. This is now at this point what many people would call a very standard draft, and they need one more core hero, maybe someone who could fight a little bit earlier, someone to
10
head towards that
seconds
mid lane.
remaining.
But aside from that, YellowSubmarine, it seems like they are kind of prepared
5
for
seconds
their
remaining.
need to fight against Black. They just need something a little bit extra right now, just because Black, they are going to be
Dire
playing
team
this game
back.
rather aggressively, or at least I expect them to be.
It's not going to be the easiest pickup for the mid lane. They are
Radiant
probably going to be
team
throwing it up against a Viper, so we'll see. It's going to be a last pick Slark for Black. Not
Dire
exactly
team
what
pick.
you were expecting, but it is going to give them some way to brawl up against YellowSubmarine. Just another fighting hero.
And that's perfectly fine. If you don't really need to go all in the pushing, if you don't want to. And Jakiro, just with Liquid Fire, guarantees some sort of push. The combo of Abaddon Slark is obnoxious, to say the least. Like, it's hard enough to kill the Slark, but man, add on a couple of heals and a little bit of shielding action to the Slark, and things get really bad, though. This is,
10
again, a
seconds
Slark into an
remaining.
Ancient Apparition. And AA Ultimate is really good against
5
Shadow Dance,
seconds
because you
remaining.
deny all that regen, and it is something, one of the few skills that you could actually hit the Slark with,
Reserve
even though he
time.
may be untargetable. So it's not going to be the safest pick for Black. It is already with its counters on the side of YellowSubmarine, but aside from that, the crowd control state of YellowSubmarine, it's not really too huge. They have Magic Missile and Ravage, and you don't really want to use a Ravage just to kill a Slark.
Definitely not. As far as how they could shore that up with this last pick, it's looking pretty limited. I would have liked to see like the Kunkka or the Puck, but both of those being banned out mean that we are going to be in for something different. Maybe we even get to see that Wind Ranger that I was talking about a little bit earlier on.
Oh man, that would be not the worst. I mean, it's never really... I don't think I've ever seen a game where there's a Wind Ranger, I'm like, no, that's a bad pick, and here are the reasons why. It's always just like an okay pick, and right now if they need someone to hold down the action early on, Wind Ranger is perfectly reasonable as a pick if that's really what they want to do. So maybe we're just dwelling too much on that ban. I think maybe it was just a random ban from BBC. There's a chance of that, but yeah, if they do want to go for a Wind Ranger, that would be a reasonable pick, I think.
Yeah, definitely. If it weren't for the Viper, I'd love to see a Huskar this game.
Yeah, that would be pretty darn good. Liquid Fire is really freaking annoying versus Huskar. Slark is okay versus the hero as
10
well.
seconds remaining.
Maybe Bloodseek. Okay, well, there it is. Wind Ranger. Looks like BBC weren't completely off their rocker in the last game. You got the Wind Ranger, and that is, as I said, a good hero to have if you're going to be fighting early on. And I have to fix that overlay. Good hero to have if you're going to be fighting early on. It's decent nuking damage. It combos pretty well with what
Prepare
YSub
for
have.
battle.
Minus armor with the Wind Ranger. It's a minor synergy there, but Wind Ranger can get to a point where she's just dishing because of all the minus armor.
Definitely. Well, that said, I'll go ahead and introduce the lesser-known team. It is going to be Black on the Radiant side with, oh my goodness, Sol Nuko on the Abaddon
You
heading
chose the
towards
wrong
off
team to
lane.
introduce.
I really did, didn't I? Dota's going to be playing on the Viper, mid lane Slark handled by Grief, and safe lane Jakiro played by, oh my goodness, is that, what is that? Olo?
I have no freaking clue.
Alex on the Scarab Mage. I love you, Alex. You actually have a name I can pronounce.
Oh, but Alex is in so much trouble right now. Chilling Touch on 5 heroes. Magic Missile to fly, and Alex is going to get jumped. Nice Shackle Shot as well, making it so that they can also, in theory, get the Jakiro, especially with the level 1 Gush. Magic Missile is all they need to keep up and kill off the Jakiro. Another Magic Missile is cooling down. There it is. With a couple more Chilling Touch hits, that's going to be 2 kills for YSub. And that is an awfully good start. Good luck trying to do that with any other hero. Wind Ranger value right there. Pick already paying off. We'll see if it continues to do so. But everyone else on YSub, we got Ancient Apparition being played by PSM. Already 1 kill to his name signature. Is currently 1-0-1 on the Phantom Assassin with Barash. 2 assists on the Wind Ranger, even though, quite honestly, he probably deserved more with that Shackle Shot. F is going to be playing the Vengeful Spirit, 2 assists there. And Dale, with 1 assist, is going to be playing the Tidehunter down towards bot again. But if that's a sign of things to come, then this Wind Ranger is going to be pretty darn deadly. You don't expect to land a 2-hero Shackle Shot before the creep spawn. I don't think I've ever seen that happen.
Well, there's always the time for first, and Wind Ranger with a very good block in the mid lane is also going to be doing well up against this Slark. Just by default, already a good matchup, and Wind Ranger being involved in 2 kills definitely doesn't hurt things for YSub. Up towards top, the defensive tri-lane coming out from YSub is pretty potent, and even though usually Viper can really dominate a lane, this might not be one of those cases. He's going to do fine, but
Denied.
I don't know, fine, is that really going to cut it? Not sure.
Yeah, it's just not really feasible for Viper to race someone like an Ancient Apparition with Chilling Touch, especially when he lands it once again onto 3 heroes. They're going to try to go for the Abaddon, but then realize that the Viper's stuck in a corner. That's not where you want to go, Totus. He's going to get shielded up, but the right click should be enough, and yeah, the Viper will die. I don't really know what the plan was there for the Viper, since there's nowhere to go once you're over here. You even got body blocked by some creeps a little bit, so Viper kind of feeding a free one over. Maybe he thought that YSub would fully commit to the Abaddon, but clearly that wasn't the case. You don't have to focus on the Abaddon when you could easily kill the Viper.
Yeah, definitely, and things probably couldn't have started out any better for YSub. Viper giving up a kill just isn't what you want to be doing on the hero in general, as he kind of does need to be dominating or at the very least winning his lane in order to really make use of that early snowball. For now, Black, the default is really not working out for them. They are putting pressure onto Dale down towards bottom, but even the Tidehunter is getting experience.
And if it gets really bad down here, then he'll just back off, sack the tower, which is going to be taken down eventually by the black side, and will start going towards the jungle or the Ancients. Either way, he'll be getting something down the line, and well, the Jakiro is going to get guaranteed levels down here, and that's perfectly fine for him. But it's up towards top where Totus is going to get jumped once again. Chilling Touch is up. Shield is up on the Viper, but that won't last for too long. A couple more right clicks. Coil is there, but another Stifling Dagger, and Totus, one more hit. Not quite going to do it. Viper is going to die, actually. That was the longest right click I've ever seen. And Phantom Assassin is going to claim her 3rd kill of the game. It's 2 minutes in, and she has 3 kills. So, yeah, if she wants to go for a Midas, she'll get it really quickly, or she could just continue the heat up towards top. Usually this Abaddon Viper lane is near impossible to kill, but as long as there's Chilling Touch, then the kill potential is there. And right now, well, they should need a little bit more mana on the Vengeful Spirit, then they could go again.
Hardly.
It looks like the order of business, at least for now, is going to be a Basilius for the Phantom Assassin. Getting casual Sage's Mask just really isn't a thing since you are starting with so low intelligence and you don't get much either. Sitting at 17, the mana regen you get from Sage's Mask is pretty negligible, so potentially if Vladimir's offering coming out early, honestly, it doesn't really feel like it matters much, just because this Phantom Assassin is having such a great time.
Yeah, she's getting some really nice farm, getting a whole bunch of kills to boot, and well, if you look at the other lanes, as I said, Tidehunter are going to be suffering, but Barash also doing a really good job versus the Slark. You mentioned how this matchup is good for the Wind Ranger, and this isn't really something that's common, having a matchup for Wind Ranger where you would say this is really a good matchup for her. But it's up towards top where Solnuko is going to get jumped one more time. Shield is up, maybe a miscoil denied, no. Man, wrong place, wrong time. It's starting to get to a point on this top lane where Black just can't afford to go up here. Every 40 seconds, Chilling Touch will be up, and then you just lose a hero, or at least that's how it has been. But Barash is, I mean, as going back to the Wind Ranger, he's good at handling the Slark in lane, but also Slark's ability to pounce onto the Wind Ranger and actually kill her off is nil because of Wind Run.
Yeah, and really the Slark is being manhandled 5-2 compared to 21-11 on this Wind Ranger. Wind Ranger also didn't get the last hits on those 2 kills, and the experience was shared through a lot of heroes. This is mostly just due to the innate advantage that the hero has. Pounce Away is going to be forced out, as they'll also secure a bounty rune for the Wind Ranger, and things are just looking so good for YSub. Black really need to make use of this Jakiro, and hopefully this extra tower gold for them is going to boost them a little bit, but things are looking grim.
And the tower on bottom lane so far hasn't even been touched yet, which is, you know, not too weird to see. Jakiro only level 4 right now. Once his levels do come up, then his tower gold is the tower gold is going to have to flow for Black right now, just because they're not getting Jack up on the top lane. They're not getting much in the mid lane, and the bottom lane is really the only source of income for them. Whereas for YSub, the other Tidehunter's not having the best of times, forced back all the way to the base. But having a Phantom Assassin with absolute free farm up on the top lane, plus farming heads, which is just as good as creep kills, if not even better, and a farmed Wind Ranger, Black, they are probably not going to get this Death Ball moving for a very, very long time. And the longer you wait, the weaker it becomes.
Definitely. Signature for now is sitting on Face Boots and Basilius is going to help this lane, and Black, they're forced to play so defensively on Todas and Solnomoko. There just isn't an opening for them to do anything, and honestly, they're probably doing more harm than good by sitting up towards top with both of these heroes. The Viper has accomplished nothing, and he might be even dying another time with the jump onto him. They have the Wave of Terror, they're going to Stifling Dagger him up, and the damage is too much, he's going to drop.
Like, how far back do you have to be if you're going to be safe from that? Magic Missile lands, it gets immediately shielded out by the Abaddon. They throw the heal of the Viper. He does have 2 points poison attack, which is probably one additional point that he could have in Corrosive Skin. Maybe would have made the difference against the Chilling Touch hits, but man, they were standing so far back. That was a defensive posture, to say the least. In bottom lane, Dale, oh, that is going to not kill him, so he's going to be just fine. He has to go back to the base, though. The Tidehunter is in a mirrored situation as the top lane, but first of all, Tidehunter has a contingency plan. He could go into the jungle, and second of all, it's only one hero who's suffering, whereas for Black up on top, it's 2 heroes who are having a really terrible time.
And he's also not dying, and he offers Ravage to his team, even if he's not getting farm, which really is so much better than what a Viper can do. I mean, Viper Strike is nice and all, but not that nice. I'm not sure what they need to do right now. Black, what's the plan here that's actually going to get them out of this funk?
I think they have to juggle the lanes. They have to either bring Skywrath Mage up here and try to full-on contest it, or just abandon the lane entirely and then just start the Doom push a little bit earlier than they really would like. I mean, they still have a level 4 Abaddon. That's a reasonable level if you're going to be going in for some sort of action. And bottom lane is something that most likely YSub are not going to be willing to defend, especially since Tidehunter is not quite yet at that Ravage level. So for Black, those seem to be the two options, but what they actually do is going to be leave the Viper up on top, have the Abaddon rotate out. I think that's reasonable. You could always get more action going in your own jungle. You could always start pulling or pull a little bit more, start stacking or something like that. But whoever's up on this top lane is going to get literally nothing done. So this top lane is a pretty large waste of time for Black unless they want to rotate a whole bunch of heroes up there, and then it'll just be an even larger waste of time because YSub will just fall back and hug their tower.
Yeah, it really does feel like it. For Slark, it looks like we're going to be in for power treads, although if he goes for Midas, that could be really problematic for Black. Generally, Slark Midas is okay since you're still able to fight with it, but this game, it just doesn't feel like it. I think he needs to be carrying a little bit more weight, and that's hard when you're getting this crushed in lane tripled up in CS.
I don't know if I've seen Slark do this poorly in lane ever. I mean, there are bad matchups for Slark for sure. He's a melee hero. He's more on the soft side. He will have sometimes a really bad time, but not up against a Wind Ranger, who I think most people would agree is a mediocre laner. Like, she's definitely no Viper. She's no Death Prophet. She'll do okay, but she won't do fantastically either. But, I mean, this Wind Ranger is demolishing the Slark, and Slark is a hero that they need to get farm. They need the Jakiro to get farm. They need at least 2 of the cores to get farm, but only 1 is right now. And, well, Jakiro, he's going to go for a mech. Maybe that'll give Black a little bit more momentum to push, but I don't really know if the pushing is really viable just yet, as Tidehunter is still not yet at that level 6, but once he gets that, then good luck pushing up against a team that is very, very fed with Ravage and a level 6 Ice Blast already on PSM. This is one of the faster level 6s I've seen from a non-core AA.
Yeah, and it's going to be really problematic. That mechanism, although it's nice to have on the Jakiro, that's going to be more or less countered. TP down towards bottom from the Venge. Going to not be cancelled. They get the tower destruction from the Jakiro, and they fly an Ice Blast through. That's not going to connect onto anything. YSub, they don't really accomplish much with that TP, but then again, they don't lose anything either.
Yeah, the tower was forfeit. There's no way to hold a tower like that up against Jakiro. What they're going to try to do is try to go for top lane with only 2 heroes. Let's see if it'll work this time. With the amount of magic damage they're putting out, Totus is going to drop very low. We'll get healed up just barely. Here comes Alex, and here comes Jakiro signature. He's going to turn around for a Stifling Dagger. We'll get silenced, however. He's still on the run, and with level 1 Blur, he's survivable enough. PSM also on the run. He might get cut off by Totus. This might be a kill for Black, and yeah, PSM is doomed to fall here. Finally, Black are on the board. It only took them a whole bunch of TPs and a really bold aggression attempt for Wysa, but hey, at least Black gets something after all of this. But over towards mid, Barash gets killed on the Slark in the meantime, so it's not even a gain for them. It's just a trade, and it's not even a good trade.
No, it's really not. This is Midas up for Barash, and I think this is completely fine. He has Phase Boots, Bottle as well. He's not stopping for, or not. Oh my goodness. I forgot exactly what I was going to say. Either way, solo killing a Slark just isn't something that should happen. Jakiro in the meantime up towards top, going to get gone upon with the shield, is going to survive, but Piper not so lucky as he's cratered by a crit coming out from Signature, making a mega kill spree, and they're not done yet, bringing Barash in with a haste rune, looking for the Jackal, isn't going to latch onto any trees, is he able to make enough distance. Mechanism's going to save him for a little bit longer, but with the blink in for Signature, he actually cancels that last crit, but Signature is going to be able to pull out safely either way, with 2 misses from the tower as well.
Yeah, very small play from the Jakiro. Usually you just want to run down the lane, but took a couple of seconds to run slightly to the right and got himself out of range of the left side of the tree line. So YSub unable to kill off the Jakiro right there, but they get a kill anyway, and Viper once again with 4 deaths to his name is not going to have a good time. Maybe we'll get some farm down towards bottom, but he's actually going for a poison attack build, and I gotta say, up against the lane, it's really hard to recommend you go for anything else other than corrosive. It's not that good versus the Phantom Assassin, that's granted, but with the Chilling Touch on the field, that is magical damage that you can reduce, so Totus may or may not have benefited if he had that. I mean, certainly not in the last case where he was just obliterated, but maybe this is not the right build to go for if you're the Viper.
Honestly, I don't think any build's going to make up for the fact that he has died 4 times. It's really just a long road to catch up, so I think it's okay. Well, for now, YSub, they're going to go into the Roshan pit with the Midas Armor coming up for the Venge, as well as the Morbid Mascon signature. They can't take this very easily, and you also have the Medallion up. This Roshan is not going to be long for this world.
Signature is not going to lose that much HP either, and if they really need to, they could bring their Tidehunter in and help defend them. This is something that Black do not know about, and even if they did, they would probably feel really uncomfortable going into that Roshan pit. Just being down 7 kills, you don't really want to put yourself in such a vulnerable position. And PSM, he's just going to walk around by, pretend everything's cool, just stacking Ancients, nothing weird going on here. So suddenly Roshan is going to be claimed at Signature. He hasn't died yet, and I don't think he's going to die for a very long time. They're going to go for the Slark, who's not going to die anytime soon with the Shadow Dance, but still it's a double life for Signature, and he's gone for the Helm of the Dominator build. Killing off this PA is really difficult, and it's 12 minutes in. It should not be this hard.
Yeah, definitely not. They should have the Magic Burst on their side and should be able to kill her off, but no. And this will just allow Signature to play so aggressively, as if anything was stopping him already. 5-0 and 2 Signature has been able to pretty much have the ideal game. They'll give some room towards the Ancient Apparition in mid. Meantime, it looks like it is just going to be a pretty standard Midas rush for PSM.
And that's just another thing that Black do not want to see. I guess it's better than seeing an Ancient Apparition come out of nowhere with an Aghanim Scepter, but man, that Aghanim Scepter is going to be coming eventually if this AA does pick up his Midas. And with 1800 gold, you don't not go for Midas. You're going to try to go for Grief over towards mid. The Ice Blast is going to land, and the Pact will kill him off, actually. I guess it's like pseudo-suicide there. Slarka, I mean, you don't really not do that. That's not a play that you make, so makes the play that anyone would have made, but he was screwed anyway. Going to give AA just enough gold to finish up that Midas. Slark dropping yet again, but this time it's going to be at the gain of a top tier 1 tower. Again, YSub, they can't really defend these convincingly, so they might as well just sacrifice them. It's 2 towers the way, or I guess 1 tower now, in favor of Black, but 8 kills at a deficit. It's going to be, they need like 3 or 4 more towers if they want to stay even in this game.
Yeah, definitely. That's scary. At this point, with a tower advantage, you really want to be even, if not slightly ahead. When you're running a core Jakiro especially, it is kind of a hero that really has one goal in mind, and that is to put that pressure on the towers early on, or at least when you're playing it in that manner. Tier 1 tower down towards bottom is also going to be taken out by Signature. It's not the fastest pushes by any means, but when you're left alone, you can definitely accomplish it, and that's going to even up the tower on both sides.
And you don't want to mess with this Phantom Assassin. Like, if you're black, you just got messed up so many times by the PA up in the top lane that doesn't really change much that she's on the bottom lane taking your tower. That is going to be tower destroyed. And Windranger actually going for a little more of a damage build. She actually has a Hannah Midas as well. That's 3 Midas on... No, only 2 Midas on Y sub and 1 on the black side. But either way, Barash with the Midas taken away, with the Lightning Hammer now arriving, and with the minus armor not quite at full capacity for Y sub, but certainly getting there. Things are getting really bad for black really quickly. Over towards bottom lane they're going to go, and Windranger has level 2 focus fire. It's a decent pushings tool. It's not really something that you pick up, or not something you pick the hero for, but something you get when you pick up the hero. And they're going to run into a Jakiro. Shackle shot guaranteed to land here. Jakiro probably not going to get anything else. No, he's going to get shielded up, and maybe he's going to survive for a little while longer. Focus fire, though, going to make short work of him. Short swap from F. Try to get him a little bit more space. We'll dodge a Mystic Flare, turn around for one more Magic Missile. In the meantime, Signature just going to town on everyone. They're going to 2v4 Barash and Signature, and it's going to work out pretty darn well. Greet is going to dodge the stun from the Shackle Shot, but Totus is going to get chased down by Signature, as well as Barash. Still Nuko now in a lot of trouble. Doesn't have a borrowed time. He will get a shield up, but it won't help him either. Signature and Barash pretty much just 2 versus 4 the entire enemy team. I mean, a little bit of help from the Vengeful Spirit. Did a good job before she fell, but that was Ancient Apparition with ultimate that I don't think landed on anyone. Tidehunter was nowhere near that fight. This Phantom Assassin and Windranger are just completely walking all over black.
Yeah, and it's not going to get any better. Signature now sitting on 3,300 gold. Honestly, not sure it matters much what he gets. If he goes YOLOing for a full Basher, I wouldn't be opposed to that at all. Or if he wants to play things safe, going for BKB means he definitely is unkillable. And Windranger now is also sitting on quite a large lump sum. Blink or Force Staff, I think, are the order of business, or even just going straight for an Axe, I don't think is terrible either.
Yeah, for either of these two heroes, you could get pretty much whatever you want, and it will work out just because they are so far ahead. Like, 3-0-5 is a good score, but 7-0-4 is what Signature is packing. I think Basher is probably one of the better choices for Signature. BKB seems a little bit too defensive with Helm of the Dominator already up. You need something that hits a little bit harder, but I mean, you're getting a lot of levels. You have level 2 crit already. Doesn't really matter. Barash, he is invisible right now, and he's stalking for some victims. He sees the Jakiro, he sees the Skywrath Mage. They're not really in a line to take them both out easily, except if he has some help. And he does have the Phantom Assassin right around the corner in the meat. He will try to go for grief. Nice Shackle Shot onto the Shadow Dance Slark. Here comes the Ice Blast to kill off the Slark. The Mystic Flare will be dodged, and now Jakiro's going to take fall. Swap back onto Alex. Magic Missile is there. That's going to be 3 kills for Y-Sub, and Barash dropping pretty low in the process, but he will get right back to base. Even if he wants to go for a Mjolnir, that's reasonable as well. Y-Sub, it just seems like they can't be stopped right now, and this is, by the way, an entire game that they've been fighting 4v5. The Tidehunter has not done anything in this game outside of a gush before the creep spawned.
Yeah, that was all that Dale has done. He has a Blink Ravage. Barash, that Shackle right there, I'm not sure if that was intentional or not, but it worked wonders. They'll be able to mop up pretty much everybody, and it's 216 now. That's going to be a Blink Dagger purchased up by the Windranger, and we're still yet to see what Signature is going to settle on the Phantom Assassin. His fighting potential, even without spending that 4,000 some odd gold, is enough, and we're going to see that put to use on Totus. They'll land the Ancient Apparition Ice Blast onto both him and Grief, and there's the Ravage, and it's going to be a pretty darn good one. Catching out everybody, they will be able to keep the Abaddon live with his ultimate, but not for long as he's being pursued by Barash. They'll be able to chase him down. Power Shot connects, they just need a little bit more damage. Blink Strike into the Windranger, now Blink into the enemy base. Diving tier 4s because they can. Shackle not going to latch on any trees, but they'll be able to bring down this 5th kill, and probably without losing Barash, he is going to play things a little fast and loose, but a win run going to keep him safe, making it a full 5-man wipe and a beyond godlike for Signature.
Venge dying twice out of the 3 deaths of the team. What a feeder, man. This Venge did her job perfectly in that last fight. Got caught in the middle of everything, and if you want someone to take the damage, it's got to be that Vengeful Spirit. PSM's got to be very far away. Dale doesn't want to be the first one in either. So the Venge played it out pretty darn well, and she ended up taking a pretty substantial bullet from the team. Barash used Power Shot to try to clear out trees, but missed. So we're just going to pretend that didn't happen. But either way, Y-Sub now with a 1-7 kill advantage in this game. It's okay. It'll get you somewhere. And PSM, he's closing out on his Aghanim Scepter. There's a Basher flying out to the Phantom Assassin, and she still has 3k in the bank. So maybe straight Abyssal Rush. I don't think that's really good, but it could be a possibility, I suppose. And Black, they don't really have the AoE team fight to combat YSub. They are a team that needs to be playing aggressively. Defensively, they don't have many answers. I mean, Abaddon's a defensive hero, but he's not really part of a defensive team comp. Black, they need to be hugging the enemy towers at all times, trying to bring them down, but Totus is going to get clipped with a Shackle over towards mid. He'll throw out a Viper Strike, and Wind Ranger will back off. And PSM, unfortunately, does not have an Ice Blast incoming, so no kill over towards mid, but no commitment there from Wind Ranger at all, and she gets very close to a kill.
Yeah, definitely. As you mentioned earlier, an Abyssal Rush straight up is probably not the order of business, but now with the Ancient Apparition Ice Blast landing in mid, Totus is going to be fine. He has some backup from the Abaddon. Mystic Flare going to miss on the Wind Ranger, and she'll be able to run away safely. So for now, just some traded cooldowns from either side, nothing major. But Phantom Assassin could get away with it. Instead, it's going to be a BKB after the Bashers for the standard item progression when you're fighting up against a Slark who only effectively has Boots, Midas, and Blink, which really just means he has a naked Blink. It's not great. They are going to lose Radiant's Courier as well if things weren't bad enough. That is going to be your power treads denied away from Grief.
Yeah, it's not going to be a huge game-changing item, even if you did pick it up, but man, if you're down this many kills and you also start losing your Courier, like what else can you possibly lose except for more heroes over towards the mid lane? Jump in for Totus, and he's going to get obliterated through the Abaddon's help. He can only shield at that point. Miscoiling does nothing. And Signature is going to draw Beyond Godlike Spree. 11, 0, and 7. What is flying after him right now? A completed BKB. So, yeah, the BKB Basher, Helmet Dominator build, it's not really a heavy damage build, but when you're level 14, you don't really need that much damage 20 minutes into the game. Tower destroyed up towards top, and Black, what are they getting all the while? I guess Slark, I mean, he still has the Hand of Midas going. They still have a mech on Jakiro. These are good things to have, but definitely not good enough because the Ancient Apparition just picks up an Aghanim Scepter. Just casually 20 minutes in, Aghanim Scepter of Midas, not a big deal.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, for a core Ancient Apparition, this would be okay item progression. It would be pretty mediocre, but for a support, this is absurd. And when you compare it to the farm on the enemy team, he's just 1,000 shy of where that Slark is farming, and since Slark got his power treads denied, their effective items are exactly the same. And impact-wise, Ancient Apparition is going to be doing much more. That's scary. If it wasn't bad enough, it's 3-22. The dream is real. Just end the game now.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit more difficult pushing the high ground without the Aegis, and it is inconveniently for YSub going to be almost a max Roshan's respawn, so they're going to be sitting there for a hell of a long time and just waiting and farming. I guess they don't really have much to worry about, but yeah, they need Aegis if they're actually going to go in and win the game convincingly. Put it on the Phantom Assassin. She has a BKB already, so it's not like she's taking much damage, and then you could just go in and clean up everyone else afterwards. Yeah, they're just going to wait for Roshan. Ancient Apparition, honestly, with the Midas, just use it whenever it's on cooldown, but otherwise just be a ward. Good Ancient Apparition. That's how you play the hero.
Yeah, I mean, really all you're there for is the ultimate. With level 11 Aghanim Scepter up, that ultimate, it one-shots Scarlet Mage, I want to say. If not, it gets close.
How much HP? 815, level 2 ultimate, 350 damage. I think that is a one-shot. I mean, yeah. He has only 815 HP, so also the Abaddon gets pretty close if he didn't have borrowed time. So this is like just some huge global artillery cannon thing, and it's hard to hit. PSM is not going to randomly look for the Skywrath Mage, and even if he does kill him, it's not a terribly huge deal. But let's see how much damage it actually does. Abaddon was at full. Okay, come on, man, you're messing with the math with that shield. Stupid Abaddon.
Darn it, Abaddon. All we want to do is see how much HP you lose, but he is going to deny that pleasure away from us. YSub, in the meantime, they're going to take a Roshan, and with the Medallion Gush as well as the Midas Armor from the Wave of Terror, it means that he is going to fall very quickly. And Signature tanking, missing on most of those attacks, means that they're going to get that clean double life, and we're well on our way towards an Abyssal Blade. Honestly, items are going to stop mattering soon because right now YSub are going to be barreling down the bottom lane, it seems, and right now they can go very easily to high ground. Grief, he has a TP, but even if he joins the fight, it doesn't feel like it's going to be enough. Black, what's the miracle for them? It doesn't feel like they have enough big AoE to really fall back on. Even if they get everybody stuck inside the ice path. In a 5-man ice path with the Macropire on the ground, I think Phantom Assassin just comes back up and cleans house.
I think the best, most reasonable thing that Black could hope for is have a random liquid fire or something like that hit Dale, and then he messes up his Ravage. Like, outside of that, there is no miracle for them. There is no 5-man black hole that they're waiting and praying for. There is no just like massive crit from a Phantom Assassin on their side that they could hope to end the life of an enemy carry in one hit. The best thing that they can hope for is like a small botch on YSub's part with the Ravage, but it's not going to happen as the Jakiro gets swapped right back. Solnuko also going to get shackled to a tree. Ice Blast going to fly, connect onto the Jakiro and the Abaddon both. Now here comes the Ravage onto the 3 remaining heroes. They're all going to take a fall with the exception of Abaddon still surviving. Grief is going to go into a Shadow Dance, so he won't die just yet, but he doesn't have any sort of DPS. YSub, they lose the Wind Ranger. I guess that's pretty good for Black. Oh wait, yeah, she travels back in. Okay, I'm like, she's right here. She didn't die. No. She died, bought back, and now they're going to clean up the melee Raxes. They are probably not taking enough to slide up towards the mid lane, but it's not necessary either way. Sunuko's going to call it, and 25 minutes in, with a 4-26 lead, YSub are going to claim this game.
Yeah, it was just a dominating performance coming out from YSub. They looked really strong, and maybe the Wind Ranger is something to be scared of. It definitely was played well. Then again, it really kind of feels like Black are just kind of on a different level. And I don't think that's taking anything away from them. They probably are a very good team, and they played well inside the qualifiers, but let's see how they fare against BBC next.
Alright guys, so we are going to be taking a little bit of a break. Actually, the next game is scheduled for 18 CET, which is about 50 minutes from now. Going to do some tinkering with the stream in the meantime, but we will be back for that game. It'll be BBC versus Black, and it should be, hopefully for Black, a little bit closer than this one, but we'll be right back for then. I'm Mike Lars. I've been joined by Grandis here on HeflaTV 1, and we will see you in about another 50 minutes for the next game of the Bridon League.